we've had news that flights between Dubbo and Sydney will be ramping up. I guess, is this a pretty good sign of what's to come for the region in terms of tourism and whatnot?
Oh, I'd actually go further than that, Isabel, and say it's better than a pretty good sign. It's fantastic news. Obviously, over the last couple of years, travel has been reduced dramatically. Airport travel in particular has been reduced dramatically. One of the great strengths of Dubbo is that we are served by so many different airlines going to so many different locations, and Rex has been servicing Dubbo. The Dubbo to Sydney route in particular has been a real strength of Dubbo. The fact that we've got Rex and QantasLink both servicing that route, and Rex has been there for a long time. A lot of passengers love the services that Rex offers, and the frequency of services is, I suppose, one of the really important things. And I know, having spoken to Rex many times over the years, they believe that's one of their real strengths. If you get up and you want to get a trip to Sydney and you can do that every couple of hours, then it means that you've got that convenience of air travel. And it's not so much that airlines compete against each other sometimes, it's really that airlines are competing against car travel. And if you've got that convenience of leaving at various times throughout the day, that's a real strength. So to see an increase of 25% in the weekday services between Dubbo and Sydney from Rex, that's absolutely fantastic news.
Yeah, and have you seen these services becoming far more popular over the past few years for residents in Dubbo?
Obviously, they were becoming more popular, and then a little thing called a pandemic came along and made them distinctly less popular. But we were at the stage before the pandemic hit, we got our passenger numbers over 200,000 a year, and that's all passengers, all airlines, all destinations. And for a regional city, that's a pretty impressive number. Obviously, during the pandemic, that reduced dramatically, which meant that we saw fewer people coming into Dubbo, visiting Dubbo on airlines, obviously, and that's a convenient way for people to visit Dubbo generally. And obviously from a business perspective as well, fewer sales reps, for example, were coming out, fewer business trips were occurring. So that was certainly having an impact. We saw a lot more tourism by vehicle, but obviously dramatically less by airlines. The other thing that has an impact on is that we actually charge money for people to land at an airport. It's a standard business model for any airport. You have a passenger fee, and then that reduced our income from that airport as well. And there's a lot of fixed expenses in running an airport. So that put a bit of pressure on our financial situation at the airport. Passenger numbers are coming back up again. Rex is increasing services, which is fantastic. So I think now we'll see things getting back to, and I hesitate to say it, but getting back to somewhat normal.
And I suppose it works, both ways. Obviously, not just people in Dubbo being able to get to Sydney a lot easier, but potentially we could see more city dwellers sort of heading here and, filling staff shortages that are being seen right across the region.
You're seeing staff shortages, you're seeing business trips, you'll see more tourist in general. So there's a whole range of things. And the cost of a ticket, and Rex has always been known for having good cost-effective prices. So the cost of a ticket between Dubbo and Sydney, for many people, especially with fuel prices the way they are, they look at that and they say, well, especially if it's one person travelling, if it was a whole family, they might prefer to go by car. But if it's one person travelling, it's pretty hard to justify the cost of fuel, the cost of getting in the car and the time compared to what a plane ticket might cost you. So it's quite reasonable from that perspective. And I imagine the more flights, the more travel, then it obviously makes it better from a business model for an airline as well to have cheaper pricing.